life. And one of the reasons is because this last few days I have been really noticing all of the noise and all of the extreme, how should I put this? Well, for me, it's really the word noise encapsulates. It's all of the noise that's been happening and around us. There's been so many crazy voices blaring the craziest news, the craziest things ever, and we tend to, as human beings, as to focus in all of the things that are going around us and all the things that are bad, because obviously we are programmed to survive and to obviously protect ourselves. So we are going to focus in everything that's really strange, really bad. And for me, this also has brought me, instead of me focusing in the bad things, I noticed something different happening. It brought me to a space of self reflection. I have been reflecting a lot about myself, in comparison to me being just one person inhabiting this world, this planet, and the impact that I can have as just one person, and the impact that we can have all together. And for sometimes, and we if you're here, you're probably also a little bit in the spiritual community. And before, let me open a little parenthesis here. Normally I use my channel as a motivation channel, and I talk about, yeah, self-help, self-love, and self-improvement. And maybe the way I'm beginning and the way I'm going to begin, maybe it doesn't seem like I'm going that way, but I am going that way. And I am going to tie this up together because I think that everything that's happening in the world right now, it's very important to us, has a motivation and also has a self improvement and a growth um, path, let's call it this way. I mean this in a very objective way. We need challenges in order to grow. And we notice that with ourselves as individuals. But right now, as I started and I mentioned, there is a lot of noise. There is horrible things coming in the news. And it's, even if you're here and you're in a spiritual community and you're like, yeah, but I don't really watch all the news because we are trying to avoid the sensationalism, and you are trying to avoid to be overfloated. There is always something, because we are a part of the world and we have to be aware. And this is one point: we have to be aware of what's happening. And this is what I was telling myself, Lydia, you have to be aware of what's happening around you. You don't have to absorb everything. You always have to always be careful and filter what is coming in, and always see where is the limit, where is the boundary of the things that are good for you, that are going to help you grow and become a better person, and what are the things that you don't need, that is just garbage coming in, and that perfectly well that is not going to contribute or add anything to your growth. So this was part of my self reflection. But I think it's so important for us, especially if you're in a path of self knowledge, growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. I think it's so important for us to be aware of what's going on and not block all the noise that is around you. It's important to filter it, because sometimes when we are overflowed by the news and everything that's happening, we may feel like, I'm just one person in this world. What difference can I make? But the thing I think that humanity has lost with time, and I think we really need to go back to, is unity. We need each other if we want to change. I want to see changes in the world. God, I want to see changes in my community here around me. I want to see people getting along better. I want to see people respecting each other and animals. I want to see a lot of improvements in my small community. And then I want to see that grow and reach all the corners of the world. So that is, yeah, the the ideology, the utopian thought, right? We think that this is an utopia, but it is not. If you're in a path of self-consciousness, of expanding your consciousness as a human being, I think it's important to be aware that now is the exact time. This is the year to start getting our heads out of the sand. And we all have a part to play. And this is the thought that I had today, that I was going around and doing my chores of the day, and I was thinking to myself, what can I do? I was like, we all have a part to play. What can we do? We can stop avoiding what's happening around us, and we can start thinking that, there is a lot of, how do you say, people with power around in the world, right? Making decisions and all of that. But we are billions of people. And if, instead of thinking to ourselves, oh yeah, I'm just one person, there is nothing I can do, oh, what can I do by saying something or signing a petition or blah blah blah, or coming on YouTube or any social media and showing my position, what you can do is show the world and show the people around that you are aware, and that you are not being dominated by fear and by all the ideas that are coming into your home every single day. Those things are not working anymore, because we are expanding our consciousness and we are becoming aware of our divinity. And when I say our divinity, I'm not talking about, oh, we are gods and we are like gods. I am talking about your divinity is your ability to think, to formulate an opinion, and is our ability as humans to make choices. And by making different choices, that the ones that we were making until now, it's when we are going to start propelling change. It can be things as small as, for example, I'm going to give the examples that I am trying to do myself. I am trying to, for example, look into everything I'm using and starting to use only cruelty free things, starting to look into what I'm eating, starting to look into how I'm behaving, how I am talking about my opinions or not, and trying to support things that I feel that are in that vibrate with where I am, that fit with me as a person. And I'm trying to do that in small ways by, for example, what I'm doing right now. I'm coming into my channel and I'm talking about something that has been on my mind. And maybe in another moment I wouldn't do that because I would be scared. Oh, she's crazy, her ideas, her ideologies. And but this thing is fear. The fear we were taught, the conditionings that we were taught growing up, that come from old ideas of the past, old ideas of, because fear, as we all know, is the easiest way to control a mass of people, right? If you have people scared, when we are scared, is such a basic mode of our brain, of our nervous systems, that we are blocking every other kind of logical thought. We are only on survival mode. And if we are scared of saying something, we are going, because we are afraid of whatever other people are going to think about whatever opinions we have, whatever things we feel, whatever things we like, or whatever we think that is best in order to make the world a better place. If we are going to be afraid of being judged, we are going to be in this survival mode. And survival mode doesn't help you grow. Survival mode helps you, what it says, it's very basic. It helps you survive, it helps you exist at that moment and be protected at that moment. And we have been conditioned into living in this survival mode. And you know what I've noticed? When I'm in survival mode, I am always expecting someone to tell me what to do, or I am expecting to remember if I ever saw a better way to do this. At least me, I'm not saying that everybody is this way. I am saying that everybody experiences this mode differently, but being in the fear mode is very handy to those who are trying to control things. And if you want to control a narrative, you are going to tell this people around you, and you are going to tell them that if you are going to do things the way you think, you are going to have to face consequences. Are you ready for that? And some people will say, like, yeah, I'm ready for that. And those, you will notice, are the things that are the people, I mean, that are not afraid of change. They want to see the change, and they understand, if I want to see change, I have to be the change. And how can we do that? Don't be afraid to be called crazy. Don't be afraid to be called ideologist. Oh, you're a dreamer. Oh my God. Don't be afraid. Allow yourself to speak up to the things that you believe. If you believe in a better world, if you believe in expanding your consciousness, if you believe in a more mindful world, if you believe in unity, community, and in building a place where we all can respect ourselves, just speak up to that. And don't be afraid of what people are going to think, because look into history. I'm pretty sure that when people like Albert Einstein came up with their theories, in the beginning, they were just theories. There were a world where everybody was basing themselves on, until Albert Einstein came up with his theories, right? And probably the first thing he heard is like, "Oh my God, you're crazy." Where you came out now? You came up with that from where? From what corner of your mind did you come up with? But he was not afraid. And because he was not afraid, he kept exploring, and he kept talking about the things that he believed in. And not only his theories that were proven when he was still alive, but he is still talked about, because there are things that he was talking about in the past. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the wormhole tech, or bending of time, or something like that. There's things that he talked about. There were just theories, or other scientists, that nowadays they are gaining a lot of more terrain, and scientists nowadays have more bases and facts in order to prove those theories, or at least prove that those people were not that crazy from thinking that. And you know why we are nowadays as far as we are in science, in sociology, in everything? Because someone dared to say what they thought. Someone dared to take their head off the sand and say, like, okay, the world has been working like this until today, but I am going to be one of the voices who are going to say, we can change it. We can think differently from now on. And this is what I was just like struggling with myself, because I was feeling, yeah, but I'm so small in this huge world. What can I do? Sometimes we all have these moments, right? I was watching some videos about some animal cruelty, and I was just feeling so incapable. It's just like, what can I do? I can speak up, I can share my thoughts, and I can have everybody else around me who don't care about that saying, like, oh, there she comes again with her shares about the belugas or the orcas or whatever animal is now suffering. What is the next thing she's going to come up with? Oh, there she comes again with talking about the divinity of human beings, and that we shouldn't lose our power over ourselves. That is, I hear this sometimes, but this is what I believe in. And I'm thinking to myself, the clarity I'm having today is like, I have to speak about the things that I believe in, because I want to see change in the world. So even if I on my own cannot be responsible for everything that's going to change, I can change myself small things. I can change, for example, the way that I speak up about things that I believe in or that I don't speak. You know, I can change the way I act. And by doing that, I am going to be uniting myself with millions of others in this world that also feel the same as me and want to have a voice, want to change something. And that energy spreads. And this is the thing that we were made to believe that we don't have anymore, this connection between us. And talking about expanding consciousness is talking about something that the quantum physicists are now talking a lot about, that is the energy all around us, that everything is energy and that we are all connected through that energy. It doesn't matter where you are in the world on that side. If we are in the same energy, if we are working towards the same objectives, we are uniting that energy and we are creating a strong front, because everything is connected. And the fact that we were made to believe in individuality as a form of disconnecting ourselves from each other is what took away our power as a community. If you look into the past, what made some communities, some more primitive communities, survive and others not? It was because they would be connected and they would have a strong nucleus. They would work together towards the same objective. And this is, we should stop thinking about our world as, oh yeah, we are a lot of nations and some agree with each other and not. And we should start thinking about it as like, we are people of earth, all of us. And I can't believe that anyone else on the other side of the world for me right now wants less than me. That is to have a good life, to be happy, to leave a good legacy for their children, have their families have a peaceful life, maintain life on earth peaceful. Okay, you can argue with me, not everybody has the same objectives in this life. It's true, but I think we all want to not only survive but live well. We all want to have quality of life. And in order to achieve that, I think that the important thing is to unify the way we have been thinking. And if I go back to the beginning of what I was saying, I was talking about the noise in the world. We hear from left, right, front, back, every single direction. There is some voice talking about something different, and we are hearing like bullets being shot from everywhere. And this is almost like a game, if you keep being shot from every side, you can't move. you know Imagine you are in a conversation with many people and everybody is talking at the same time. I'm telling this, I'm telling that, everybody is giving opinions left and right. And then you want to give your opinion, but there it reaches a moment to say, people, I need a moment to think. I need you guys to stop. If people are talking to you all at the same time, it's just noise. If they want you to listen, or if you want to be able to make your own opinion or to speak up or say something, you have to speak up. Say, like, hey, stop. Now it's the time for me to say something. So I think it's the time for us to say, stop. You don't decide for me anymore. I am a human being with the ability of thinking. And don't let ourselves be dominated by fear anymore. And we need to do that in small actions of our daily lives. But I think it's important to not take that responsibility away from us and just think, oh yeah, I'm just a normal person living a normal life, there's nothing I can do. There is always something we can do. We are all playing a part in changing the world, and it starts by us taking responsibility by doing exactly that. This is, I think, my main point would be that is take responsibility. And it's really simple. It's only thinking, okay, I also have a part to play. And sometimes your part to play is to make yourself a better person, learn how to establish boundaries, learn how to speak up, learn how to mm, be more yourself, and then pass that down to children, to friends, to family, to help everybody understand that we all have a part to play, and we are all a part of this immense grid of energy that all humankind can form. And in the moment that we understand that together, but really together, united, we can make the change and we can make change happen. I think that's when truly we are going to start seeing things happening. Until now, everything has been dominated by fear. But I think that more and more we are starting to be more aware of ourselves. And in the more that I know myself, the less scared I am to be myself. I think that you would agree, right? The more that we are ourselves, the more we know about ourselves, about the things that we like more and we like less, and the things we want to change, the things we want to do better, or whatever it is, the more that we start respecting ourselves and feeling ourselves, the more we are confident about who we are. And that is like growing up. Like when I was in my 20s, I wasn't so confident about myself like I am nowadays. I was growing, right? I was getting to know myself. I was having experiences like, for example, going into, I think I was 19 when I started working for the first time, 18, 19, in a serious job, like in a company and everything. And those transitions in life, sometimes they make you grow. They make you know new parts of yourself. And growing like that gives you more confidence. And before that, before I went and started working in a big company, I was scared of it. That was daunting. It was just this experience, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't want to do that because it's so scary." And then I went and I did it, and I learned from that. I became more confident. The next time I had to go and look for a different job, I wasn't as scared of talking about myself or being in an interview, for example. I think this is just a small example, but every time that we grow a little bit more, we get more confidence on ourselves. And so together, the more that we grow, I think the more confidence we achieve, the more confident we become, and the more we know about ourselves, the less fear can be our almost our moving force, and we can make other things our moving force. For example, your love for the world, for seeing things getting better. You 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 look we look into, for example, to our pets walking around, and we love them dearly. But think about, for example, how many other animals in this world are suffering right now, and we sometimes don't think about that. And I am not here forcing anything on anybody. I'm just saying, like, a way of us doing something is, for example, saying I don't agree with it publicly. Sometimes tell it to your family, tell it to people that don't agree with you. Tell it with telling it to them without being scared of them saying, "Oh, you're crazy. There you come again." That little thing, it was in my mind, is like because every time that I'm scared to give my opinion because I think, "Oh, people are going to think this and that about me," I am sticking my head in the sand, and I am hiding from my own self. And nothing will ever change if I keep doing that. If, for example, I see something happen beside me that I don't agree with, if I say like, "Oh, I don't agree with that," but if I keep myself very, very still because I'm afraid, I am afraid of what people are going to think or what they are going to do if I say something, I am sticking my head in the sand and I am not going to change anything. But if I say, hey, I don't agree with what you're saying, I don't agree with what you're doing. And there are many ways of doing that without putting yourself at risk. You can just say, okay, I see your point of view, but I don't agree with what you're saying. And this is my opinion. And maybe people are going to tell you your opinion is stupid, but you gave it. And that is your power. You have an opinion, you can give it. And at that moment, you're going to change the situation because you are going to have said something, you're going to diffuse a situation. Or if you don't diffuse a situation, because it's not always that easy, is it? You can at least show yourself that you stand up for what you believe in. And by changing that little part in us, we are going to be able to change slowly in affect change in others because we are only mirrors of each other. And by growing and becoming better, we are going to show other people in our actions and in the way we talk and the way we explain the way we feel, our actions. We are going to show them that there is another way. We don't have to force our ideologies. I'm not pro forcing your ideologies and your opinions on anyone because I don't think that that is the way to change the world. I don't think the way to change the world is one, imputing fear, and two, forcing opinions in anyone, because I see that many times. And for example, this might be unpopular and I'm open to everyone's opinions. But I think that, for example, what kills a lot of the good things in veganism and vegetarianism is that some people want to force an ideology in people who are maybe not yet so far to understand the the how big the theme is. And if people are not ready, you may be right when you say, you talk about the cruelty and when you talk about the murdering and everything that happens that is cruelty, but people are not going to understand it. So I think that with love and consideration, we can get a lot more. We can say, look, I choose veganism or vegetarianism because of this. And these are my reasons. And I would really, really love that the world would understand it, or at least pay some attention to what happens around, because I believe this is a cruelty. And then give the person space to actually go think about it, because believe me, I've been there before. Someone showing me the other side of a situation, I was not aware of the amplitude of what was happening. And then I stopped and listened. First I had resistance, because resistance is normal. Resistance to change is normal because we all want to survive, and our brains are, our nervous systems are, like I said, programmed to survive and to search for things that we know. If we know, we feel safer. And every time change comes along, we kind of resist it first. So if someone comes to talk to me, imagine I ate meat all my life, I don't know anything better. And then, or I never really understood the amplitude of the situation, and someone comes and says to me, oh, you're a murderer, you do this and this, you feel attacked, and you're like, are not even explaining me what's happening. But if people come to me and tell me, listen, I chose this path because I can't agree with this, and then they help you see a different kind of way of thinking, and and you actually tell them, look, I do this and I do that, and I eat this way, or I do, I'm giving this example, but it can be anything, right? And then they speak to me from a place of love and from a place of compassion, because they want me to see that there is a better way, that there is love behind what they are doing, there is compassion, there is humanity, and they don't want to force it on you. They want you to understand that there is a better path. and maybe one that you would like to walk with them. And I think that that is the way for us to convince anyone of anything. It's not about forcing. It's not about telling people, oh, you have to speak up. No, it's about telling them you can speak up. If you want to see change, start by saying something about it, saying that you want to see that change and taking the responsibility of that, because it is a responsibility, but you're not alone. We are not alone. And I think that the beauty of building up communities and of this self growth community, this spiritual community, is the word community. It's not about if it's the spiritual community, if it's the scientific community. It's the unification of people coming together, talking about something that they're passionate about. And then, because they feel confident and they feel peaceful and in what they're talking about, they are passing it out from a place of love, from a place of compassion, kindness. Hey, look, there is also this option. And then everybody starts to want to listen, because it's the same on trying to teach a toddler something. If you're going to scream with them, what are they going to do? They're probably going to cry or run away or get shy or but if you say to them, like, oh, there is another way. If you keep yourself calm, if you keep yourself um, loving, they are going to listen to you, and they're going to start thinking about what you're talking, because there is no threat into whatever is happening. And I think that that's what I mean with this. We don't have to come from a place of fear anymore. We are past that. We are now prepared to build the next step of humanity, that is, don't shut yourself down. Speak up from a loving place. Be kind with yourself and be kind with others. And I think it all starts with us being kind with ourselves, because if we are kinder to ourselves, in order to say, like, in order to think, what can I do? I don't want to feel um, so, how do you say, impotent anymore. Like, I can't do anything. What can I do? And we will start giving ourselves space, giving ourselves choices. And by respecting ourselves that way, I think we are going to be able to bring that respect to everyone around us. And remember, what I said is the energy. By feeling more peaceful and more loving towards ourselves, we are going to start almost emanating that to the world outside, to the people around us. And they are going to feel more comfortable around us too. They're going to feel more comfortable to tell us what they think. They're going to maybe feel more open to listen what we are talking about, because we are not coming from a place of fear and anger. We are coming from a place of love and compassion and care and kindness. And so this is where I started, and this is where I want to end. If we want to see change, we have to take the responsibility. Stop being afraid of showing who you truly are. Who you truly are is beautiful. And if anyone has something to say about it, let them, and accept it, because maybe what they say can help you grow. And if they come from a place of anger, let them. You don't have to take the anger inside. We don't have to absorb everything that comes our way. We can choose, we can filter that. But first, we have to take the responsibility to be the change we want to see in the world. And change comes with unity. Unite yourself with other people. Don't feel like you are in an island anymore. We don't have to lose our individuality in order to become part of a community. You are always going to be unique. I don't know if I'm the only one who needs to hear this today, but if I am, may it be. But we don't have to lose our individuality, our uniqueness, in order to be a part of something. We can be a part of a community, a part, we can unite with all of the other people in the world and still be ourselves, still be special, still be who we are. We are not going to lose ourselves just because we are part of a community. But by being part of a community, by speaking up and supporting what you believe in, you are going to be part of the change you want to see in the world. Even if there is always that little voice, that little John on the back of your head, the monkey, saying like, "Oh, this is not going to mean anything. You're saying that you only, for example, you now only use cruelty free. It doesn't mean anything. It means something. There is you in this world right now making the right decisions for yourself. There is you fighting fear, being kind, being loving towards yourself, being the best version of yourself. And you are just one in this whole group of people in this world who are trying to be better. And yeah, maybe there is another part that is not trying to be better, but we have to focus in the things that we want to see. If we want to see change for the better, we need to focus in the things that we want to see, not what is screaming around us right now, not in this noise, in this voices screaming around you. They are screaming everything you don't like, everything you don't want to see anymore. They are talking about a world where you don't want to raise your kids. And believe me, I have a child in me right now. I'm about to become a mother. And for me, this becomes, I think that maybe this is why this becomes even more clear, is because I want to create a world where my child can feel free to live and express themselves. And also, I want to create a world where they can live a good life. And it's not the world that the noise is talking about. It's the world that you and me are trying to create. The world of all of these people in the world who say, I want to be happy and I want people around me to be happy. How can we do that? Take charge, take responsibility, talk, speak up, and make small changes. Don't feel lonely when you decide to I don't know, stop using that brand because they test on animals, for example. That is beautiful. Only by doing that, you're already taking a stance, right? We are taking, we are saying, I believe in this and I'm following it. You know, for example, don't give in to this consumerism society we are forced into. If this is not who we are, why should we? Just because everybody else is doing it, you don't have to do it. Just because everybody's doing something that you feel uncomfortable about, you don't have to follow that. We don't have to follow that. Follow your own beliefs. As crazy as they may sound, remember, like I said, there is a lot of brilliant minds that nowadays are reminded and talked about as the most brilliant minds in the history of the world that once were called crazy. So be called crazy today, because tomorrow someone is going to remind your brilliance, someone is going to remind your strength, your love, your care for the world. And it doesn't have to be the whole world. If tomorrow someone, when I'm not longer here, when I decide to go back to source, if someone reminds me by saying, "Oh, I remember Lydia. She was one of those people who went. She didn't always only talked, but she also followed through. For example, she believed that, for example, that everybody should use only cruelty-free products. So she only used, it's stupid thing for many people. Like, but for me, if I'm reminded by being a compassionate person, for one person, if one person remembers me, like, Olivia was a good person. She did her best. Maybe she wasn't always the best that she thought she could be, but I saw her fighting the good fight. I saw her speaking up for what she believed, or I saw her following her dreams or something like that. That's all I need. I don't need to be reminded as, I don't know, a big personality. I want to be reminded as a caring, loving, compassionate person who believed in love, believed that the world could be a better place, and that she did what she thought she could do in order to make the world a better place. And I know that many of us want the same. So if you want to see change, if we want to see change, let's be the change that we want to see. How cliche that can sound, be the change. Don't be scared of being called crazy, hippie, strange. What are you talking about? Just be yourself, be free, and welcome yourself home. You'll see when you start letting go of all the fear, all the shame, and all the restrictions that were put in us by this very old societal ideas. That's when we come together as a whole, and you're going to feel that power coming back to you, and you're going to be welcoming yourself home, saying like, here I am again, ready for it. So this is what was on my mind today, and I was I just wanted to share this. And if it means anything for anyone, good. If it only means something for me, if it will only help me grow, I'm going to be happy. So, mm, have a wonderful day and welcome home. Bye.